The breaking news out of Washington has set the entire nation abuzz. Former President Donald Trump has signed into law a sweeping new measure that delivers direct monthly rebate checks of $600 to eligible Americans. This legislation, hailed by its supporters as a long overdue relief package and criticized by opponents as an election year maneuver, promises to have an immediate impact on millions of households. For families still reeling from inflationary pressures, rising costs of food and gas, and the lingering effects of economic uncertainty, this announcement is nothing short of monumental. The idea that Washington is sending out recurring payments rather than one-time stimulus checks has shifted the conversation entirely. No longer framed as a short-term band-aid, this law has the potential to become one of the most significant financial relief programs in decades. At the heart of the law is a simple yet powerful promise: consistent monthly support for ordinary citizens. Unlike the sporadic relief measures passed during the pandemic, this program establishes a rhythm of assistance, providing a measure of predictability for households struggling to balance budgets. Proponents argue that this predictability is exactly what families need, knowing that every month, without delay, $600 will arrive to help pay for groceries, childcare, rent, or other critical expenses. That stability, they argue, could restore consumer confidence and stimulate local economies in ways that one-off checks never could. Trump himself framed the legislation as a bold fulfillment of his commitment to put America first, not just in foreign policy, but also in economic policy. In a fiery statement at the signing ceremony, he declared that the American people had been ignored for too long, and that this law was designed to return wealth directly to the hands of those who generate it. His words struck a chord with supporters who have long felt that political elites in Washington are out of touch with the everyday struggles of working-class families. The idea of monthly rebate checks as an act of financial empowerment fits neatly into his populist narrative. Critics, however, have wasted no time raising alarms about the potential cost of the program. Economists warn that providing $600 a month to millions of people will add billions to the federal deficit annually. They question how sustainable such a measure can be, particularly if future administrations are unwilling to raise taxes or cut spending elsewhere. Others caution that the influx of monthly checks could reignite inflationary pressures, undermining the very relief the program is intended to deliver. Still, for many Americans, those abstract warnings pale in comparison to the concrete reality of receiving a consistent check in their bank accounts. Reactions across the nation have been deeply divided but undeniably passionate. On social media, jubilant posts from supporters declared this the biggest relief package since the pandemic and a game changer for struggling families. Videos of people calculating what $600 a month could mean, covering utility bills, easing medical debts, or funding educational expenses, went viral within hours of the announcement. Meanwhile, detractors posted grim charts and stern warnings about fiscal irresponsibility, painting a picture of future economic collapse. The contrast highlights a political environment where the immediate benefits of relief clash with long-term concerns about national solvency. Beyond the partisan bickering, everyday Americans are focused on practical questions. When will the checks arrive? Who qualifies? And how will this affect their lives? The Treasury Department has already released preliminary details, indicating that payments could begin within the next 60 days. Eligibility will be based on income thresholds similar to past relief efforts, with households under a certain adjusted gross income qualifying automatically. Direct deposit will be the preferred method of distribution, ensuring that most recipients see funds quickly. For those without direct deposit information on file, physical checks will be mailed, though with some expected delays. Financial experts note that while $600 may not solve every problem, the psychological effect of knowing support is coming regularly could be just as powerful as the money itself. It creates a cushion, a sense of security in an uncertain world. That sense of assurance could ripple outward, leading to more confident consumer spending, which in turn boosts local businesses and stabilizes communities. In effect, the program could act as both relief for individuals and stimulus for the broader economy. The parallels to universal basic income experiments in other countries have already been drawn, though supporters are quick to distinguish this rebate program as uniquely American and tied to Trump's political vision. The announcement has also stirred conversations about fairness. Some question whether $600 a month is enough in a time when average rents exceed $2,000 in many cities. Others wonder why wealthy households with significant resources should receive any rebate at all. Lawmakers involved in crafting the legislation defend the broad eligibility rules, arguing that universal or near universal benefits ensure speed, efficiency, and public trust. By avoiding complex means testing or bureaucratic hurdles, they believe the program will achieve its goal quickly and without the administrative delays that plagued earlier relief efforts. Even as the checks are prepared, the broader implications loom large. Will this program set a precedent for future administrations to continue or expand monthly relief? Could this be the first step toward a permanent guaranteed income system in the United States? Or will the costs and political backlash ultimately lead to its repeal after just a few years? These questions remain unanswered, but what is clear is that Trump's new law has reignited the national conversation about how government supports its citizens. As analysts dig deeper into the mechanics of the new rebate program, attention is turning to its broader political implications. Trump's decision to champion monthly relief checks could reshape voter expectations not only for his own political future, but for the entire American political landscape. By framing the law as a direct contract between government and people, he has drawn a line in the sand for future candidates. Ignore the economic struggles of ordinary citizens at your peril. Political strategists across the spectrum are already recalibrating their playbooks, recognizing that this type of direct relief resonates powerfully with voters weary of promises that rarely translate into tangible benefits. For many, the checks are more than just money. They represent a symbolic acknowledgement of the hardships endured over the past decade. From the financial crisis to the pandemic, Americans have lived through repeated cycles of instability. The promise of $600 a month, while modest by some standards, sends a message that government can and will step in when circumstances demand. Trump's framing of the law as a patriotic duty underscores this symbolism, turning what might have been seen as an economic measure into a rallying cry for national resilience. Still, questions linger about how the program will be funded long term. Administration officials have hinted at a combination of reallocating unused funds from past relief packages, modest adjustments to federal spending priorities, and anticipated growth in consumer spending leading to higher tax revenues. Critics dismiss this as optimistic at best, accusing the plan of relying on financial gymnastics rather than serious fiscal planning. The Congressional Budget Office has yet to release a full projection of the program's costs, but early estimates suggest hundreds of billions over the next decade. Whether these figures will erode public support or simply be absorbed into the ever-expanding federal debt remains to be seen. Meanwhile, the impact on households is already being calculated at the kitchen table level. For a single parent earning $35,000 a year, an extra $600 monthly represents a nearly 20% boost in take-home income. For retirees living on fixed incomes, it could mean relief from the constant anxiety of rising medical and prescription costs. For young adults burdened by student debt, it might provide the flexibility to pay down loans faster or finally start saving for a home. Each of these stories underscores the program's immediate relevance, turning abstract policy into tangible improvement in daily life. The program's simplicity also enhances its appeal. Unlike tax credits that require filing and waiting until April, or targeted subsidies that often demand mountains of paperwork, this law delivers money directly and quickly. The choice of a flat $600, rather than complicated sliding scales, was intentional. Lawmakers who crafted the measure emphasized that clarity builds trust, and trust is essential for widespread acceptance. In the end, the true measure of the program's success may not lie solely in macroeconomic data or budget projections, but in the lived experiences of millions of Americans. If the law provides a buffer against hardship, if it restores faith that government can act decisively in times of need, then it may well be remembered as one of the defining policies of this era. For now, though, the nation watches, waits, and prepares for the arrival of those checks, $600 at a time, a promise turned into reality, a new chapter in the story of American resilience.